And now it's time for the live final of the men's 3,000-meter steeplechase. And this is how they'll line up. Daniel Lopez in 1, Carl Van Kalkar, Mark Coogan, Dan Nelson, Mark Krogan, Daniel Reese, Brian Abshire, 1988 Olympian, Matthew McGurk, Tom Nohilly, James Cooper, Brian Deemer, Olympic bronze medalist from the 1984 games, Noyes Livingston, John Warren, and James Gibson. Those 14 athletes will contest these barriers and water jumps. 7 barriers and a water jump per lap, 7 laps of this track under conditions that are certainly better than they could be. A little bit cooler, but it's easy for me to say I don't run distance.
But this is the coolest night so far of the trials. Big field here. This is a tough event to make the U.S. team in. The distance races right now are not the strongest for the United States, but in the steeplechase there are 7 men ranked in the top 50 in the world compared to the 1,500, the 5,000, and the 10,000, where there are only 1 or 2. So there's a lot of competition here. This is an event where an American can possibly win a medal coming up in Barcelona. Brian Deemer did it in 1984 with a bronze medal. Henry Marsh was sick, unfortunately. He was a possibility back in '84 for a medal. This time around, it may be Deemer, but the most likely man is Mark Krogan. He's 481 in this race, and he is in second place right now and had the second fastest time in the world last year, running 8:10, just off of Henry Marsh's American record.
Carl Van Kalkar currently leading, Mark Krogan in second place. And the strategies are different. Look at Brian Deemer. He is in 14th place. He runs somewhat like Henry Marsh. He says, I don't want to go into oxygen debt the first 4 laps of this race. I'm going to run my pace, and then I'll start to work my way through the field. Worked well for Henry. It has worked well for Brian, but someone's got to lead the race, and right now it's Carl Van Kalkar, followed by Mark Krogan, then Daniel Lopez, Mark Coogan in there, Brian Abshire, and Brian Deemer is taking up the rear right now, but he's really not out of contact at all, running the kind of race that he likes to run.
Well, Brian Deemer has a lot of confidence to do this, and it's surprising that he does have confidence, because on April 15th he found out that he had a stress fracture in his foot, was not able to run for quite a few weeks, spent the time running in the pool, and it was very painful fracture going over hurdles. So he's done very little hurdling, and I don't think he wants to get into this pack and get mixed up with the other guys, maybe get bumped. But he's got to do what he's doing. He's got to be confident that he's got a kick at the end.
Okay, we'll be back with more of this race when we return to New Orleans, the U.S. Olympic Track and Field Trials on Sports Channel. We'll be right back. And we're back in New Orleans, the 3,000-meter steeplechase final being contested on the track as we speak. Let's take a look back at the second semifinal heat of the men's 1,500 meters.
1,500 meters. We're back now to the steeplechase, where the men have gone by the 1,000 meters of this 3,000-meter race in 2 minutes 49 seconds. That is about 8:30 pace for the full distance of the steeplechase. In the qualifying rounds, both rounds went in about 8:30, 8:32. So the people in this race right now are qualified to run quite a bit faster than they are now. We expect the pace to pick up in the next couple of laps. Strangely enough, Brian Abshire has not been out into the lead. He's the man most people expected to be leading, and it is Krogan who's very confident of making the team, obviously, and is out there. Mark Coogan is in 3rd. Tom Nohilly is in 4th. Danny Lopez is in 5th.
And we see them go over the water jump one more time. It's still Krogan and Van Kalkar, Nelson, Lopez, and Deemer starting to weave his way through the field. He's currently around 6th place, right where he wants to be. He's got to start making a move. As we see Krogan, as you said, Marty, last year, second best time by an American ever, and he didn't even know it. Half an hour after he finished the race, our statistician Tom Jennings came into the bus and said, hey, nice race. You ran 8:10:39. He had no idea. He thought he had just broken 8:20 and maybe run a personal best. And we'll come back for more, actually the finish of the 3,000-meter steeplechase, when we return to New Orleans. This is Sports Channel. Stay with us. Back in New Orleans for the final lap of the men's 3,000-meter steeplechase. It's Mark Krogan out well in front on this last lap, followed by Danny Lopez, Brian Deemer trying for his third team, and Tom Nohilly in fourth. Brian Abshire nowhere to be seen. Dan Nelson back in the pack. Carl Van Kalkar. It will be between those three gentlemen, more than likely, as to who will comprise this team. Mark Krogan on the left side of your screen, well out in front. Now it's Deemer, the Olympic bronze medalist from 1984. It's Daniel Lopez in third, and how they come off this final water jump might determine it all. Tom Nohilly starting to be dropped.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tom Nohilly does have 3:43 speed in the 1500, faster than anybody in front of him's run, but he's let it go. He's going to have to make a dive at the tape. I don't know if Lopez knows he's back there. Tom didn't have the energy over that last hurdle.
It's Deemer, Lopez, and Krogan. Tom Nohilly trying to use that 3:43 1,500-meter speed. Will he get the spot? No! It's Deemer, Krogan, and Lopez, and Tom Nohilly about half a second off. A great finish for Tom Nohilly. Fourth, might as well be last in a distance race at the Olympic trials. He will not make the team, but what a great finish for all four of these steeplechasers.
Focus now here on third place. Tom Nohilly and Brian Deemer, both men had stress fractures throughout the year. Nohilly has scraped together for 3 years trying to decide whether to have a job or to go after this. In the last 2 months, it started to come together for him. He was in my office just a week ago, and he was so excited about it. He hadn't run a fast time. He's come a lot closer than anyone thought he would, but he's just going to come up short by a couple of inches.
8:16:57, a phenomenal time in these particular conditions.